In this video, we will learn about loops. A loop executes one set of commands multiple times. This is why it's called loop. So think about it like a spring that just keep doing the same thing multiple times. And there are many applications in programming that we need to do the same process multiple times. So think about, let's say if we have 1,000 numbers and we want to find the square for each of these numbers. So instead of doing so the same program, we can just run each number through the program one after one, so that will execute repeatedly. So there are two ways where MATLAB can do the loop, so to control the number of times. And this could be if we need the specific number of loops. We go to execute the program, we use for loops. So this is called for loops. And the other type is called while loops. And in this kind, we execute the commands as long without a specific number of times. And usually we use an expression. As long as that expression is true, the commands will keep executing, and when we want to stop that loop, we can make the expression wrong or false, then it will stop. In this video, we'll learn about the first type, which we call it the for loop, and then we'll cover the while loop in another video. So this is, if you look here, this is how it look like. The structure for the for loop should be every for should have an end, and there should be a variable. It could take any name. It's better to use one letter, but you could use a word for it. But I think because sometimes we need to, like in this case, we need to use the index or the loop index as part of the command, MATLAB command. So it's better to use a letter. But as I said, you could use any letter you like, not only K. So that's the structure. So if and end should be indented at the same level. And then this should be the name, the variable name. So let's say we use K here, equal. And this is the start, that's the first run or pass. And this will be the last pass. The number in the middle is optional. If you don't put it, by default, it's 1. But this will be the increment. So let's say in this case we use 3. So the first time, the first pass K equal 1. Then because the instrument is 3, then the second time K equal 1 plus 3. So that will be 4. Then the next run is 7, and the next run is 10, and then it will stop because this is the maximum we can go there. And here we could do anything we want. Like in this case, we squared the number, like the example I mentioned, but we could ask the program to write something or to do any other operations. And this is used very often in programming, so it's important that you understand the loops and how they function, and when do you need to use for loops compared to when do you need to use while loop. So let's cover, give you some examples in MATLAB, and yeah, we can go from there for more details. Okay, here we have a few examples that we'll go over in MATLAB to help you understand how it works. So again, I just started a counter here, like a pass, just to so that you can see what's happening. Like every pass, I just make it here that it will increase for every time we go through a pass. Like just think about it like a pass, like a spring, just going into cycles there. So this is kind of the same example we saw in that node there. So K will the first time it will be 1. Then the increment is 3, so this K should take a value of 1. Then increment by 3, so this the second time the second pass will be 4. and then another pass will be 7, then the following pass will be 10. So every time, like I put here x equal k square. So when first time k equal 1, then x will be 1 square, so this is 1. And then second time k equal 4, this will be 4 square, so 16, and so on. And mainly here I just put if a print f just to show you that what's happening. So I put the pass number, what's the value for k, and what's the value for x. Let's run it and see what do we get here. Okay, so if you look at that, the results here, so pass 1 as we expected, k equal 1, x equal 1. Then k, the second pass, k was incremented by 3, so 1 plus 3, so it become 4. The third pass, k equal 7, and the fourth pass, k equal 10. And every time we just ask, in this case, we only ask the program to square k. So 1 square and k square and 7 square and 10 square. Okay, hopefully that's help you understand how the loops, how the for loop works. Let's look at another example here. So this, I just did the same example here. I just did change the increment. I can reverse it. So I started from 10, and I put the increment -3. So as you may expect that. So let me clear the screen here. What do you think here? So k, we start with 10. So the first pass, k equal 10. Then the second time, so 10 minus 3. So the second time, k equals 7. And the third pass, then 7 minus 3. So that will be 4. And the fourth pass is 4 minus 3 will be 1. So you should get 4 passes, 10, 7, 4, and 1 if we are right, and then it will see. So let's test it and see. So you can see pass 1, k equal 10, pass 2, k equal 7, pass 3, k equal 4, and pass 4, k equal 1. So it's important to understand what's happening behind the scene here. So this is why, so that when you design your programs, you understand how to take advantage of the for loop. And again, here, as I said, we could do anything we want, but I just chose to use the square there, which is kind of the same thing there. So it's important to know that this increment, it could be increment by 2, by 3, by any number you want, or it could be the opposite. We could decrease by 3, by 2. Like in this case, we started reducing the like reverse increment here. Okay, another example here is sometimes we don't want fixed increment. We may need a certain numbers, which is kind of a strong tool. We could use like an array here, so we could give k specific numbers. Like in this case, we like to have 7, 9, -1, 3. So you can see there is no relationship between the numbers, which is this is sometimes we have scenarios like this that we need to do the same process, but there is no relation, no fixed relationship between the numbers, this is when you need to use something like this. So again, we are just using the same process. We need to square numbers, but like what you see here, the numbers, they don't have a fixed increment between them, so they are going all over the way, all different directions here. And let's run it. Let's first clear the screen. And if you run it, like we see, it will be for the first pass, k equals 7, and the second pass, k equal 9, third pass, k equal -1, fourth pass, k equal 3. So let's see if that's what we got. So you can see first pass, k equals 7, and what do we want the program to do? Then to square it, so x equal 49. And then second pass, k equal 9, then it will square it. So that's, as I said, this is different applications. So I can give you 3 different scenarios that you need to keep in mind whenever you have a scenario that you like to use. So make sure always to think if you can resolve the issue using loops. Okay, thank you, and we'll cover the while loop in another video.